What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. Alright, so we're going to start this one off with the results from the 2024 California Pro. And we did have Tonio Burton come out with the victory here. After 3 shows in this season, we finally see Tonio Burton come in and take that victory. So in second place, we actually surprisingly had Amir Omaragic. Third place, we had Christian Wolski. Fourth place, very surprisingly, we had Stuart Sutherland. And in fifth place, we had Pablo Lopez. So look, you guys may have noticed that I did not go live for this event. In fact, I didn't do much coverage of the Cali Pro at all, and we'll get to why here in a minute. But first off, huge congrats goes out to Tonio Burton. This was a well-deserved victory, and especially according to the judges' scorecards here, it was a dominating victory, and we will see the rematch between Tonio Burton and Rafael Brandao at the 2024 Olympia. I think Tonio showed up here with enough conditioning to really get the job done. In fact, in the finals, I think his lower body was probably more dialed in than we saw at even the last previous 2 shows that he did. He had a really good level of roundness and fullness, and I think at the end of the day, just the rest of these guys could not keep up with his God-given shape, and that's really what put him up and over the top here. In second place, we actually had Amir Omaragic, and this was definitely well-deserved, just based on conditioning alone. Now think about this, for a guy that took 9th place last week at the New York Pro to take 2nd the following week, well, that's professional bodybuilding for you. A little bit more size, and this guy is going to be punching his way to the Olympia, for sure. Christian Wolski taking 3rd place, he continues to impress, and this is a guy that nobody had on their radar going into New York. I think with more size, fullness, and conditioning to really match his frame, he'll continue to do well in the Pro League. Now, Stuart Sutherland did not come in at his best at prejudging, and I think that's really what happened to Stu here when it comes to this 4th place finish. He was very much improved at the night show, which did put him in the first call-out and being compared directly with Tonio Burton, but on the scorecards, it could only get him as high as 4th place at the end of the show. So I know that Stu was looking for a better placing here, and we all expected a better placing. Essentially, everybody had Stu in 2nd place going into this show, if not defeating Tonio Burton in certain conversations. So the question is, where does Beef Stew go from here? Next up, we have the Toronto Pro, then we have the Vancouver Pro. Does he decide to compete in a couple of weeks, or does he decide to take some time off and maybe compete much later in the season? It should be very interesting to see what the next move is for Beef Stew. And in 5th place, we had Pablo Lopez, which is a guy that I've actually covered in the past. He's always impressed me with his overall shape. He does bring good conditioning. The one thing that he does lack, though, is definitely the back. He needs more lat width and more lat thickness overall. But you know what? If he can bring that up and get more overall size, you will see him continue to do very well in the Pro League. So that is your top 5 at the California Pro. With all that being said, this event did have some unfortunate parts here. For those of us that were actually here at home, there was no live stream, you guys. Absolutely no live stream to be found. The backdrop also, I felt, was not reminiscent of what we would expect the standard to be in the IFBB Pro League. But you know, I was looking at a few other video feeds as the show went on. I looked at Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding, Matt over there at Muscle Discord. All these guys had to jump back and forth between what they could find on Instagram for cell phone videos, oftentimes not even of the stage, actually a video of a video screen. You guys, it was an absolute mess, and hats off to those guys for actually doing it, but you know, I just didn't want to take part in it. I didn't feel like really I could just give proper commentary. Now, there has been some higher quality images that have come out since then, which has led me to what I said about my top 5 in particular. But look, in this day and age of bodybuilding, we need to have a live stream. The athletes deserve a live stream. Not having one limits their overall exposure and the exposure of the event. You know, all around, it just looks unprofessional in this day and age of bodybuilding. They did have one last year. Maybe something happened this year with whoever was going to provide a live stream. I do want to give the event maybe a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but you know what? Maybe they'll come out and say something about it. As for now, it was definitely disappointing in that regard. But like I said, congratulations to Tonio Burton. You guys leave me a comment on what you think overall of the Cali Pro. Alright, next up, we've got an update here from Samson Dauda. Now, Samson is now 2 weeks into his offseason, and it looks like he's even better than what we saw in Pittsburgh, which was just a short time ago. So it's safe to say that Samson has started his big off-season push to really make improvements for the Olympia. And you know, he does look much better. The one thing I did notice with this posing video is that it was actually taken at the factory gym in the UK, which is his typical stomping grounds. Now, the talk 3 weeks ago was that Samson was going and joining the Oxygen gym. That has not taken place as of yet. Now, maybe I missed something and he's only planning on going for his contest prep, but my understanding was that he was going to Kuwait more or less immediately, and that has not taken place as of yet. Now, I don't think it's safe to say that maybe plans have changed and that he won't be going to the UK. Actually, I highly doubt that after all the publicity that he was giving to, you know, competing in Dubai and some of the things that he came out with surrounding that. But anyway, we'll see what move Samson decides to make next and when he might end up in Kuwait. Alright, last up, we've got an update here from Nathan DeAsha. Now, Nathan actually is currently in Kuwait, and he is working full-time with the crew at Oxygen Gym. And I gotta say, this is definitely Nathan's best off-season look that we've seen, maybe ever. He's got the size, he's still carrying a very respectable level of conditioning, and he looks more balanced overall. You know, the legs do look bigger, there's more quad sweep, I think, and he did actually speak on this. He attributes that to changing up some of his leg training in particular. He says now he really squats for muscle growth as opposed to Instagram likes, so essentially less weight on the bar. And yeah, it's definitely working. But you know, that's not all that Nathan had to say in his recent updates. He also said if he thinks he's ready, and his coaches think that he can be ready, he may decide to compete before the Dubai Pro. He is previously committed to that show, but he did mention that there might be another show on his radar.
Hopefully we can keep the fullness in there and bring it on to Italy, smash that qualification and see where we go from there.
So, that would put Nathan DeAsha going up against Hunter Labrada, who just announced within the last couple of days that he will be competing at the Italy Pro this year. And I think that's something maybe Hunter wasn't necessarily accounting for. I'm sure part of his strategy is honestly that the Italy show just typically doesn't have that competitive of a lineup as some other shows out there. And this version of Nathan DeAsha does stand a very strong chance of defeating even the new version of Hunter Labrada. So that could be a very interesting battle, and it's just another yet unexpected turn in the 2024 competitive bodybuilding season. So you guys let me know, who would win the battle between this version of Nathan DeAsha, who is extremely on point, more on point than he's ever been with his diet, his training, his off-season ever in his professional career? Or Hunter Labrada, who is at his biggest, essentially at his best right now when it comes to overall balance from top to bottom? You guys let me know what you think. Who would win that battle at the Italy Pro? Anyway, that's it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.